Hello and welcome here to Talk AFC and welcome back to another video today, and I'm going to be talking specifically in this video about Luis Enrique. Now, straight away whenever I mention that name there's a lot of opinions, and there is a lot of opinions around. There's a lot of contrasting opinions, I should say, because there's a group of supporters and there's a group of fans who love him, who are very much behind him and are interested to see his ideas and what he can produce throughout the season. Then there's the group of fans who are just being patient and waiting for him to announce himself and really stamp down his authority on the side. And then there's those group of fans who have no patience and are not willing to give him any chance at all of settling into this job and are not willing to give him any time to implement his ideas. Now, to be fair, a lot of us here have given him time. We are waiting to see what he can do, and we have had the patience and stuck by him over what was quite a tough period throughout the start of the season after losing to Real Madrid and then losing at home to Celta Vigo. It was difficult, it was testing, but we do appear to have come through that stage now. We've had a lot of consecutive wins, we've hit some form, we've smashed Sevilla. In our last two home games we've hit 5 goals in each of those, and that's something to be very, very positive about. And there's 5 things that I've put down that happened against Espanyol yesterday which haven't really been mentioned as much as they should have, and credit has to go to Luis Enrique. And the first thing is the selection. Now, admittedly, when the team came out, first of all I wondered, why is Iniesta not starting? He played against Huesca for 90 minutes, so I thought he would be in this game, but Luis Enrique wants consistency, and he continues to play Rakitic and Xavi, which, to be fair to him, has worked very, very well. Those two seem to complement each other nicely in midfield. Xavi controls the play, Rakitic is more energetic, he gets into the box, he makes those runs, he drags the defence, and he does very, very well. Those two work very well together. I was surprised to see Jeremy Macchio on the bench, but I do presume that he was rested ahead of the PSG game, and I would have thought that he would definitely come back in against PSG. Mascherano played outstandingly at centre-back, no problems there. So it was the consistency I was pleased with. I was pleased that Luis Enrique now, because at the start of the season we did see a lot of change. Every lineup there was a few different changes, there was a different back four every week, and we don't need that. We need consistency, we need players playing week in, week out and getting some familiarisation about them, and that seems to be happening. So that's the first point. Consistency was good, and not starting Iniesta does look good as well, because he's got a bit of rest now. He came on, he made an impact, he had a few minutes under his belt, and now he'll be raring to go against PSG, and he's very much fit and ready to start that game because of the rest he got against Espanyol. The second thing that hasn't been mentioned as much as it should have been is Claudio Bravo. Luis Enrique has not bowed to any pressure. There's been a lot of pressure from fans and the media to start Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Now, he's the younger goalkeeper, he's not experienced in La Liga, he's still got a lot of things to learn, and I do believe that he's done very, very well to keep continuing playing Bravo. He conceded goals against Real Madrid, he conceded goals against Celta Vigo, but he's been a very, very consistent goalkeeper for us this season. He deserves a lot of credit for that, and Luis Enrique deserves a lot of credit for sticking with him, because there was a moment in yesterday's game where Espanyol were through on goal. It could have been 2-0, it could have been game over, but Claudio Bravo saved us like he has on many occasions this season, and they both deserve credit for that. Point number 3 is to do with the fullbacks. Now, this is something that I only noticed yesterday, really. In the last few weeks, we've seen Jordi Alba particularly really up his form and up his game. The last few games, Jordi Alba has been absolutely electric down that left-hand side. He's been very, very energetic. His runs have been very good, and his combination play between Lionel Messi and himself has really come on strong. Now, what we've also seen is some lax defensive, performances from Dani Alves. A lot of criticism has gone his way. Luis Enrique is stuck with him. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. But what I want to talk about is, yesterday we saw a balance. Now, that is a very important word here, because we've been absolutely craving for this for a few seasons now. We saw a balance between attack and defence. When Alba went forward yesterday, he was our fullback that was bombing on, and he was really going for it. He was up and down all game long, trying to start attacks, trying to give us width. And Dani Alves didn't attack as much yesterday, and you may notice that now if you look at it now. I didn't notice it until I watched the game back, and Dani Alves doesn't attack as much. He stays quite reserved, he stays in that right-back position, and he doesn't bomb down that right-hand side all game long, because as we know, Dani Alves has got a bit older, and when he gets forward now, he does struggle to get back as quickly. Now, that's good. If we can get this balance right, where Alba is the one going forward and Dani Alves is the one staying a little bit reserved, that'll really work well, and that was really promising to see yesterday, and I only noticed it this morning, so maybe some of you haven't really noticed that, but the balance is certainly coming on strong. If that's something we can see in a few more games this season, I'll be very happy indeed. Point number 4, Pedro's substitution, it has to be said, what a sub. I said earlier in the Pedro podcast, when he was ready to come on, I thought, do you really want to bring Pedro on in this sort of game? Do you need to do that? And then when you took Suarez off, I thought, is that the right decision? But it was. It really, really was from Luis Enrique. He was brave. He was very, very loyal to Pedro. He played Pedro in the game against Huesca in midweek. Pedro impressed Luis Enrique. So Luis Enrique said, you know what? You've earned it. Go on. Go and have a few minutes and see what you can do. And Pedro, fair play to him, got his head down, played very, very well, had some brilliant moments in the game, and he certainly gave Luis Enrique a selection dilemma going into the game against PSG. But a really strong sub there from Luis Enrique, and again, he deserves some credit for that. And the final point, and is probably the best point that I can see, and this is something that's been happening now since Suarez got back from his suspension, and that's the front three. Now, at the start of the season, I touched on this point earlier, there was a really rigid front three. You had Neymar, you had Pedro Manir, and then you had Messi in behind. It was a front three, which was like two strikers and an attacking midfielder. Now, that did sort of work, but we weren't really annihilating teams like that. We were just breaking them down slowly, we weren't winning by a great margin, and it didn't really appear to be working, and didn't really appear to be as fluid as we needed to be. But the front three now are very, very flexible. Suarez, Neymar and Messi, you could look at them in the first minute, and then you could look at them in any other minute, and they could all be in different positions. They interchange, they go on different wings, they swap positions, one goes centrally, the other goes out wide, the other drops deep, and it's an absolute nightmare for the defence to mark, because there is such good movement. In the second half, the movement from the front three was absolutely incredible. You couldn't have picked them up. They were always on the move, they always wanted the ball, they were always interchanging, and that's what you need to see. And that's why Messi is scoring so many goals recently, because his movement is absolutely first class, and when he has the space to do that, he can really punish teams. And with the front three like they are at the moment, they're very flexible, they're very fluid in their game, and when they're like that, Messi will cause problems all day long, every day of the week. And again, Luis Enrique deserves credit. He's changed his strategy a little bit, he's changed his tactics slowly, but he's certainly learning, and he's certainly building this side on to be a better team, and that's very promising, and we deserve to give him credit for that. A lot of people won't bother, a lot of people say, he's got a good team, he doesn't need to manage it. Rubbish. Luis Enrique has done really well here. It was a good result yesterday, and an even better performance. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. What do you make of Luis Enrique so far? Are you with him or against him? Please try and be positive here. We need to stay with everyone in our club. We need to stay united. So thanks for watching, guys. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and of course, leave your views down below. I'll see you very soon in the next video, but until next time, Visca Barça! Barça! Barça!